Namaskar and welcome back. Today's discourse is called You Are Not Helpless, and it's from a book called Ananda Vachanamritam, Part 7. And it's not so long, but there's quite a lot of different points in it, so it'll take us a while to get through them, but some really, really interesting points. And the theme is empowerment. And lots of secrets about how to empower ourselves. So let's get started. You are not helpless. Some people say, I am helpless. There is no one to take care of me. And some take pity on others, saying, Look, sir, this man is helpless. Please do something for him. In this context, I will say that no one in this universe is helpless. Some people believe that money and wealth will greatly help them in life, but they are mistaken, because wealth and riches are limited. A finite entity comes and goes. It has a beginning and an end. How can it help you? Thus, the physical body, wealth, riches, and clothes cannot give you any lasting assistance. Only that entity which neither comes nor goes, which has an unbroken existence from beginningless to endless time, can be your permanent shelter. Every entity, organic or inorganic, mobile or static, needs a shelter. Parama Purusha, the Supreme Consciousness, is the only real shelter of one and all. Parama Purusha has created a system for everyone in which there is provision for scolding and deterrent punishment. However, behind that lies his deep love and affection. This is why I advise human beings, don't be afraid of any harshness or any difficulty whatsoever in the world. Don't be afraid of scolding or deterrent punishment. The Supreme One, who is the Creator, the most powerful entity of this universe, is with you. So spend your life in this world free from worry and anxiety. There lies before you the call of duty. Parama Purusha will provide you with the strength you require to respond to this call. You do not have to say any special prayer to Parama Purusha for that, because he will supply you with everything according to your necessity. This is his duty. It is a must for him. Some people pray to Parama Purusha, O Lord, please give me strength. In my opinion, there is no need to ask Parama Purusha for strength. You should first utilize the strength that has already been given to you. Only when you are completely exhausted, when you have utilized all your energy, may you say, O Lord, I have used up all the strength you gave me. If you want me to do more work, give me more strength. If you don't require any more work from me, don't give me any more strength. While you still possess the last remaining amounts of the capacity given to you, while you still have the strength and ability to speak, there is no need to ask Parama Purusha for anything. I have already said that it is his duty to provide you with the necessary strength. Is there any need to remind him of his duty? You know that Parama Purusha exists in all the entities of the universe, the sun, moon, planets, satellites, nebulae, and innumerable celestial bodies, the countless atoms and molecules, in his individual and collective association. That is why, as long as there is a speck of dust under your feet, as long as a single star twinkles over your head, you should remember that you are not helpless, that you are not alone. You need not have any fear or apprehension, any fear or worry about this under any circumstances. Just keep moving along this path of spirituality. The question then arises, why should you continue your spiritual practices? The answer is that you continue because Parama Purusha wants you to. Only out of respect for that particular desire of Parama Purusha do you continue your spiritual practices. During your spiritual practices, you should ensure that Parama Purusha is your mental object and you are his subject. It sounds strange that human beings become the subject and Parama Purusha the object. In the absolute sense, Parama Purusha is the supreme controller of everything, the supreme subjectivity, with human beings as his object. Usually, human beings cannot make Parama Purusha their mental object. Therefore, when you repeat your Ishta mantra, or when you ideate, you should remember that in fact, you are the object and Parama Purusha is the subject. That is, in meditation, you do not see Parama Purusha, but Parama Purusha sees you. The actual idea in your mind should be that Parama Purusha has kept a close watch over you in the past, is keeping a close watch over you now, and will keep a close watch over you in the future. Under no circumstances are you alone or neglected. As long as you remember that Parama Purusha is watching, no power in this universe can oppose or harm you. Moreover, each and every entity, from the supreme creator of the universe to a single blade of grass, will cooperate fully with you. It is a divine decree, a divine law, that human beings should live in this world amicably, with friendliness to each other. No one should exploit anyone. No one should perpetrate torture or exploitation. Everyone should utilize their inborn strength to the best of their capacity. Fully utilize your strength and all the other qualities you have received from Parama Purusha. When you have exhausted them, when you have no strength, intelligence, or spiritual power left in you, Parama Purusha will provide you with the things you need most. You should not waste your valuable time by begging Parama Purusha to give you this or that. Remember, you are never alone and should never have any fear or worry. You should not sit down and cry out, "Oh, what will happen to me now?" Such thinking is totally ridiculous. Parama Purusha will certainly see the problem and take the necessary steps in all circumstances. Just as a small child never has to think about itself, its parents think about its well-being. Similarly, you should not concern yourself about your own needs. Let Parama Purusha worry about that while you carry on your duty fearlessly and cheerfully. You will see that Parama Purusha will certainly do everything necessary to protect the interests of his affectionate and beloved children. You should not have any sort of inferiority complex in your mind. You are not inferior to anyone, nor are you any less significant than anyone. I have already told you that a father gives equal love and affection to his sons and his daughters. Both are equal. Those who limit other people's rights, who take away other people's rights, oppose the divine providential law, thus inviting trouble for themselves. So, lots of really nice points, and the general theme of it is, do your duty however difficult it may seem, and you will get all the power you need. So let's look at some of the points a little more closely. The first one is, only that entity which neither comes nor goes, which has an unbroken existence from beginningless to endless time, can be your permanent shelter. So remember that as a human being, you want permanent peace, permanent happiness, and permanent security. Only an entity which is itself infinite and permanent can give you that, right? So look in the right place for the security that you are really looking for. Next, Parama Purusha has created a system for everyone in which there is provision for scolding and deterrent punishment. So deterrent means, something to a type of punishment which is not intended just to punish, but which is intended to stop you from making a mistake or going in the wrong direction. So you're starting to go in the wrong direction, and then something happens painful or difficult, and the intention behind that is to stop you going any further in that direction, right? Behind that punishment lies his deep love and affection. This is why I advise human beings, don't be afraid of any harshness or any difficulty whatsoever in the world. Don't be afraid of scolding or deterrent punishment. The Supreme One, who is the Creator, the most powerful entity of this universe, is with you. So, spend your life in this world free from worry or anxiety. So, as human beings, we have a tendency to worry and to be naturally afraid of pain and suffering, and to see them as something frightening, actually. But what this is saying is that remember that behind any kind of pain or suffering, there is love, the love and affection of God. So it's coming to you, this pain or this suffering is coming to you to help you make a change, help you become a better person, help change your direction, right? So maybe without that pain or without that suffering, you wouldn't be able to make some change that you need to make. So that's why the Supreme Consciousness is sending you pain and sending you suffering, because only by sending you that will you be able to make an important change that you need to make. If you were just left in a situation where you were comfortable, you wouldn't change. You would carry on going in the wrong direction and get yourself deeper into trouble. So behind that pain, behind that suffering, maybe sickness or maybe other kinds of suffering, maybe loss of a job or humiliation or something like that. Behind that is an intention to help you move in a better direction. And once you begin to understand that, then you begin to see maybe an illness or maybe some type of difficult thing which you were afraid of or which you found horrifying or something. You begin to be able to see some love in that, something divine, some God is giving you a little bit of helpful attention. It may not be comfortable, but it's helpful, right? So, and that totally changes everything. If you can see it that way, if you can see your suffering, if you can see your illness, or if you can see the difficulty that you're facing in that way, and see it as a call for change, right? A call to action, and respond to that. So, okay, this illness or this suffering is trying to tell me something, is trying to push me in a certain direction. What direction is that? How can I respond to that call? And see it as love, right? And respond to it as love. And that takes the fear out of it, that takes the anxiety. And fear paralyzes us. It makes it difficult for us to take action and to move. We become frozen. But when you start to see it as something coming to you from love to make you make a change, then, okay, let me sit up, let me take notice. What can I do? Where can I go? How can I respond to this call? So, there lies before you the call of duty. Parama Purusha will provide you with the strength you require to respond to this call. You do not have to say any special prayer to Parama Purusha, right? So if your conscience is telling you to do something, where is that coming from? Parama Purusha is speaking to you through your conscience, right? I should do something. I need to do this or that. And if Parama Purusha is calling you to do something, he won't call you to do something if he's not going to give you the strength to do it or to respond to it. So if the feeling of your conscience says, I should do this or that, then somewhere hidden in you, Parama Purusha has already given you the strength to respond to that. So take an act, move forward, take a step, respond to that call. You'll find that you do have that strength, or if it's not enough, you will get more as long as you're moving in that direction. While you still possess the last remaining amounts of the capacity given to you, while you still have the strength to move and the ability to speak, there is no need to ask Parama Purusha for anything. I have already said that it is his duty to provide you with the necessary strength. Is there any need to remind him of his duty? So, I've said this in another video, but once I was in hospital and feeling, wondering if I would get out of there alive. And then I read this discourse or another discourse where he said the same thing. And it said, as long as you have strength to speak, to say something, right, or whatever, you still got some strength left. Use it, right? So don't feel pity for yourself, don't feel sorry for yourself. If you're still able to move, lift your head up or say something, you've still got some power left. So nobody is powerless. Use that power. Take a step in the right direction. And that actually helped me a lot. I thought, yes, I may be, sick, I may be feeling really weak or whatever, but I still got some power. So let me use that. As long as there is a speck of dust under your feet, as long as a single star twinkles over your head, you should remember that you are not helpless, you are not alone. So it says that Parama Purusha is in everything, in every molecule, in every atom. As long as there's still a speck of dust under your feet, Parama Purusha is hidden in that speck of dust. So you're not alone, right? So don't be paralyzed. Get up, keep moving, start the task. You're not alone, and you will always get the help that you need. Now, I'm not exactly sure where the connection is, but it says, then the question arises, why should you continue your spiritual practices? Maybe because Parama Purusha is doing everything, right? And then it says, the answer is that you continue because he wants you to, right? Parama Purusha wants you to do spiritual practice. Only out of respect for that particular desire of Parama Purusha do you continue your spiritual practices. This is a phrase that has been in my mind ever since I read it about a week ago. And it's just been, I find it strangely motivating when I'm doing my sadhana, or when there's always competition with other things. I want to continue doing my work or something, and we're always pulled in different directions. And just remembering this, that I should do sadhana. Why? Because he wants me to. I find that much more motivating for myself than thinking, well, if I do sadhana, I will become a better person, I will become stronger, I will become wiser, I will become more efficient, I will become happier. Those are all good reasons and all true, but somehow not as powerful, not as sweet, not as magical as I should do sadhana simply because he wants me to, right? Such a beautiful, sweet, magical reason. And I find that it helps not only motivate me to do sadhana, but also motivates me during sadhana to make more effort. Why should I make effort and try to concentrate or do my practice with a little bit more effort or sincerity, right? Why? Because he wants me to. What a beautiful reason. What a sweet reason. So try it. Think about that. Again, as I have said often with all these things, just hearing it once isn't enough. You need to think it over for a week, for a month, and try to incorporate it in the way that you think, the things that you tell yourself, your auto-suggestion. And the more you do it, you start to discover its value and its beauty and its power. And because he wants you to do, maybe that same motivation, because he wants me to, will also help you in other ways to be a bit more disciplined, to take on a challenge that seems a little bit scary or something. Do it. Why? Because he wants me to. When you repeat your Ishta mantra, or when you ideate, you should remember that, in fact, you are the object and Parama Purusha is the subject. That is, in meditation, you do not see Parama Purusha, but Parama Purusha sees you. The actual idea in your mind should be that Parama Purusha has kept a close watch over you in the past, is keeping a close watch over you now, and will keep a close watch over you in the future. So, when I originally read this, I've mentioned it in other videos, but it made me feel a little bit uncomfortable, almost a sense of duality, that something is watching me. So, if when you hear this idea, always remember that, or think in meditation that Parama Purusha is always watching you, watching over you, right? If that makes you feel uncomfortable, or you don't relate to it somehow, think of it this way, that Parama Purusha is watching over you in the same way that a mother watches over her baby, right? She's watching it with love, to make sure that, oops, it doesn't fall over or doesn't hurt itself or something like that. And if you think of it that way, that you're being watched like a mom watches her baby to keep you out of trouble, then you'll feel it in a much more different way. And then you'll also feel it as something empowering, because you'll notice that if a baby suddenly sees, if it's playing happily and suddenly notices that its mother isn't there, suddenly its sense of safety disappears and it feels fear and worry. But when its mother is close by and it feels its mother is watching, then it feels safe and it plays happily without any fear or worrying, knowing that its mother will take care of it. So I think what he's saying is we're just like that. If we think we're alone, if we're not feeling the presence of Parama Purusha watching us, then we have the tendency to be subject to fear and anxiety. But if we always remember that Parama Purusha is with us, is watching us, watching over us, right? Like a mother watches over her baby, that will give us a sense of fearlessness and a kind of carefreeness to enjoy ourselves just as a child does, knowing that it is being taken care of. Under no circumstances are you alone or neglected. As long as you remember that Parama Purusha is watching, no power in this universe can oppose or harm you. Moreover, each and every entity, from the supreme creator of the universe to a single blade of grass, will cooperate fully with you. So, amazing. This is one really powerful secret of success. As long as you remember that Parama Purusha is watching, no power in this universe can oppose or harm you. Why? Because when you are remembering that, you are remembering that you are the object. Parama Purusha is the subject, right? Parama Purusha is the doer, the subject, not your little ego. So when you are surrendering, when you remember Parama Purusha is the watching, basically you are making the space for Parama Purusha to be the doer, right? When you forget that, you think, I am the doer. And then when you are the doer, your little ego is the doer, you will encounter resistance, opposition, and things like that. Why? Because the universe is trying to teach you that you are not the doer. And so we get opposition and difficulty as long as we think we are the doer, right? But when you remember Parama Purusha is the doer, is the subject, is watching, doing, controlling everything, then you are working with his power, which is the greatest of all powers, which nothing else can resist, right? And not only will you not get opposition, but you will get cooperation. So, if you are finding resistance and non-cooperation in your life, maybe think that the reason might be because you are forgetting that Parama Purusha is watching you and you are working from the position of your own ego. And let go of that. Remember, he is watching, he is doing, and you'll find that the cooperation will come. Okay, 6, 7. Okay, so the last quote is, I have already told you that a father gives equal love and affection to his sons and his daughters. Both are equal. Those who curtail other people's rights, who cut back or cut off limit other people's rights or deny, oppose the divine law, right? Thus inviting trouble for themselves. So by this we can guess that the main audience intended by this lecture was women. In many societies, women have been disempowered and exploited to various degrees. Because of thousands of years of disempowerment, they may be inclined to feel helpless and powerless. So this discourse was intended to empower women especially to stand up and fight against injustices, guide them where they can find their power, and to give the secret of success. But it's useful, of course, for anyone, for all of us, because we all find ourselves sometimes feeling helpless. So, lots of different points, and just to sum them up in the end. Remember that the only place you can find permanent shelter is Parama Purusha. Don't be afraid of suffering or punishment, because it comes to you with love to help you move in the right direction. Use the power that you have to respond to the call of duty, and trust that He will give you more power if you need it. Do sadhana, spiritual practice, simply out of the sweet motivation that you do it only because He wants you to. Remember that He is always watching over you, like a mother watches over her baby. If you remember this, no power can oppose you, and all will cooperate with you. And finally, do your duty without worry or fear for your own needs. Trust that Parama Purusha will look after you. Many beautiful points. I hope you find them helpful and inspiring. Namaskar. Have a wonderful week.